Hi and welcome back. Now something else I came across I want to share with you. This is a bonus lecture, so that just means it's not directly linked to what we are doing in our editor, but since we are currently dealing with advanced query techniques, I think this is a good idea to use it and to show it to you. So what we have here is an exchange rate table from, in this case, the Royal Bank of New Zealand. And normally, in case, or let's suppose you have a company and you are operating in different countries. And what you have then is you have exchange rates, right? And at the end of the day, what you need is you would all convert all your sales into one currency, so into your home currency, for instance, US dollar or euros or I don't know, whatever. And what you need is an exchange rate table. And normally you get something like this from the ECB or the Fed or other kinds of central banks, and you can download in the Excel file and you don't have any problem. But here, what we want to do is we want to extract this table here, as you can see, and we want to convert this into a format which Power BI could actually work with. Okay, and this requires a few transformation steps within the Power Query editor, and this is the reason why I want to show it to you here. Okay, the first thing is that we select it here, and I copy this URL, and I'll go back to my editor, and I referring here to my editor, and you already have seen this in the last video. I could go to new source, and I could say I want to import something from web. Okay, and then I paste my URL in here. I click on OK, and it will prompt me with this, how do I want to query the data? In this, access the content, in this case, anonymous, this is okay. I click on connect. And I wait a little bit, and the connection will be established. Just takes a few seconds, and now the editor opens. And you can see now I can select what actually do I want. Well, I'm using the preview to select what I want. In this case, table 0, table 1, and table 2. But in this case, I see the table 0. So this is the table I want, right? So this table I want to extract. So I'm selecting table 0 in this case, and I click on OK. And now this query is directly actually will extract it from the website and put within Power BI editor. Okay, so what do I have here? Well, at first I have 3 columns in here, as you can see, those 3, which are basically 3 rows, sorry for that. The first 3 rows, which I do not need, so I want to get rid of those. So I could simply say remove rows, but if I do this and say remove top rows, and I say I want to remove the top three rows in here, and click OK, then I remove those top 3 rows. So this would be one option. The other option would be to use the filter and filter out the 3 rows, because in this case we only have 3, so this could also be done. Okay. So the next thing is I currently have my dates within the headers. So actually I have a pivoted table here. Okay. What I want to have is I want to have actually all the dates in one column and all the values in another column. So what I could do is I could unpivot the data. But beside this, I could also do something else. When I click on transform, there is the transpose option. Okay, and what can I do? Well, I could use, at first I could actually not promote the headers, but let's say, is this word actually exist? Demote the headers, I'm not sure now. But what I want to do is I want to put those values here, so all my dates, into the first row in here. So what I could do is I could go to the home in this case and take a look at this, but here I can't find it. And when I can't find it on the home, I go to transform, and what I have is I have the promote headers here, right? Use first row as headers here, which is promote headers. And if I click not on promote headers, but instead click on the small little arrow down here, I can say use headers as first row and use first row as headers. Okay, in this case I want to say use headers as first row because I want to put all these dates into the first column here. Okay, like that. And now what I could do is I could use the transpose function. And the transpose function, as it tells you, transposes this table, treating rows as columns and columns as rows. So if I click on transpose now, you can see that now my dates have been put into the first column, and my headers, so basically what was in the first column, so all the different kinds of currencies are put in the first row. And what I could do now is I could again use first row's headers, but now I want to actually promote them to headers. So I click on this, and you can see that now I have my United States dollar, so US dollar, pound sterling, New Zealand dollar, and so on. So now I have them in my first row actually, so as the header. Okay, so not in my first row, but as the header. So this is what I could do, and now what I can do is I could either select all these columns, or I could only select this column. So it depends, whatever you like. And now I could use this unpivot column. So I want to unpivot those columns in here. So if I click on unpivot now, this would work. Or I select only this. For instance, you have a lot of columns, and you only select the first column or the columns you do not want to unpivot. And then you click on this small arrow here and say unpivot other columns. Okay, unpivot other columns. And if I select that now you can see I got my date in here, and I could actually here. This is my date here in the first column, and what I have is I have this attribute column, which is basically, or which was the headers, actually the currencies, and I could call them currencies, so currency. And what I could do here is I could select this and could say this is actually the exchange rate, so exchange rate, like that. And now I have actually transformed the original table which I had, which was looked like that, and I've transformed it into a table which looks like that. Okay, and I could use this table now in case I want to use it in my data model, but in this case this was really just a bonus lecture, so you've seen some kind of advanced or additional transformation steps which we have not covered so far. So this is something I wanted to share with you, so now you know how to do it, and you could do it as on your own computer, because you could also access this or use any kind of other currency table which looks quite similar or a little bit different, and you could apply different kinds of transformation techniques and generate a table which looks like that. Because when you're using an exchange rate table in Power BI, you should want to have some a format which looks like that. Okay, you want to have a column with all your dates, a column with the currency, a column with the exchange rate, and this could be used really handy. But of course, you could also extract something like that from a CSV or an Excel file, which again, I think any kind of central bank would provide. But if you see something like that from the web, you can do it like that.